It was the day of the big puddle jumping competition. Peppa and her friends were practicing jumping up and down in muddy puddles. My daddy always wins, boasted Peppa. He says the first rule of puddle jumping is to wear your boots, and mine are very special because they are made of gold. Turn the page. They are not gold, replied Susie Sheep. They are yellow. They are not yellow. They are real plastic gold, protested Peppa. Ready to turn the page soon? Not yet. Would anyone like some orange juice? Called Mummy Pig from the house. Yes, please, replied everyone. They ran inside, leaving their boots outside the front door. We turn the page. When Peppa and her friends had finished their juice, they headed outside to put their boots on. Oh no, my boots have gone, sobbed Peppa. Mr. Zebra arrived with the post. I've just seen a duck with boots on, he said. Peppa sniffed. Were they gold? No, yellow, he replied. Oh, Peppa is sad. Mr. Duck came running down the hill wearing Peppa's golden boots. Peppa ran after her. Mrs. Duck, can I have my boots back, please? Sorry, Mrs. Duck it was. Quack, quack. But Mrs. Duck did not want to give Peppa's boots back. She didn't stop running until she reached Captain Dog's boat. There's the duck with the golden boots on. And there's sad Peppa and her mummy and daddy and brother George. No one could stop Mrs. Duck. She leapt into the water and swam away. Captain Dog started his engine. I think my boat can go faster than a duck, he exclaimed. But Captain Dog's boat could not keep up with Mrs. Duck. That's a fast duck, he said. There she is, swimming fast in the ocean. Mrs. Duck finally stopped at a little island where Grampy Rabbit had been shipwrecked when his boat capsized. Mrs. Duck has my boots and she won't give them back, Peppa called. Don't worry, Peppa, replied Grampy Rabbit. Mrs. Duck has nowhere to go. But then Mrs. Duck started flying and she was still wearing the boots. Naughty Mrs. Duck. Oh no, cried Peppa. Mrs. Duck is flying to the moon with my boots. Don't worry, Peppa, said Grampy Rabbit, pointing to the neighbouring island. We'll take my rocket. I really don't think Peppa's boots will be on the moon, said Mummy Pig. Nonsense, insisted Grampy Rabbit, helping everyone into the rocket. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! There's Peppa smiling in the rocket and stars. On the moon, Peppa and her friends searched everywhere for Mrs. Duck and her golden boots. Let's ask at the shop, suggested Susie Sheep. You don't go get shops on the moon, exclaimed Daddy Pig. Postcards, called Miss Rabbit from inside her gift shop. Ice creams, buckets and spades. Now that's a bit silly. They're on the moon and Miss Rabbit has a shop. Can I help turn the page? Meanwhile, Grandpa Pig had spotted Mrs. Duck in his garden. Those aren't your boots, are they? He asked. He quickly dialed Daddy Pig's number. Quack, quack. Hello, Grandpa Pig, says Daddy Pig. Yes, Peppa has lost some boots. We'll be right there. Next stop, Grandpa Pig's garden, announced Grampy Pig. Peppa bounced excitedly out of the rocket. My boots, my golden boots, she exclaimed. Thank you, Grandpa. Grandpa Pig helped Peppa to put them on. "Now we can go to the jumping puddle competition," said Mummy Pig. "Oh, yes," agreed Daddy Pig. "We'd better hurry." The big puddle jumping competition was about to begin. "First up, Daddy Pig!" cried Mr. Potato. Daddy Pig took a big, giant leap and made a very big splash.